I guess the timing is sort of apropos, talking about workforce development and building on what Representative Fielder mentioned related to the initiative that the governor put forth last year, the Keystone Economic Development and Workforce Command Center that you mentioned. We are clearly in a workforce development crisis right now. At least in my area, we have jobs, good paying jobs that have benefits that we can't fill. And I say a crisis because if we can't fill the jobs, it makes it very difficult to attract new businesses to Pennsylvania. So can you build a little bit more, expound a little bit more? In this year's budget, the governor aligned some of the initiatives to the challenges identified by the command center. And I'd like to know more because I think this really is something that we have to address now for our future. And I'd like to know more about what your agency is doing to address those issues that you just outlined in a little bit more detail.
Well, one of the things that our agency is doing, along with others, as you mentioned, is the Keystone Workforce Development and Command Center. Right. And we are looking at some of those barriers. We're looking at barriers to employment, but also what are we doing that are getting in the way of employers, whether it's licensure and certification for certain positions. I mean, there's a whole range of issues we're looking at. What are we doing that's duplicative? What are we doing that are creating roadblocks to bring people in? You're right. We are in the middle of a workforce development crisis. Everywhere I go, I travel a lot around the state. We hear the same things, and I steal the line from Gene Barr all the time from the chamber. We don't just have people without jobs. We have jobs without people, and there are reasons that those jobs aren't being filled. Some of it has to do with demographics, an aging population, people retiring, and not enough bodies to fill them. Some of it has to do with lack of training. And one of the things that our agency does through our career links, through our apprenticeship and training office, through a variety of programs that we have, we are working to train people for those jobs that are not just the jobs we need right now, but other jobs we're going to need in the future. We don't want to give everybody a commercial driver's license and then see that we've got driverless trucks on the turnpike. So we are doing what we can, working with other agencies. Some of the money in the governor's budget 2 years ago was the first time there was money, that state money went into apprenticeship training. Before that, it was all federal dollars. So through the PA SMART program. So we're expanding apprenticeship opportunities, not just in the traditional trades, but in also non-traditional trades like early childhood and cybersecurity and things along those lines that we know we're going to need. So there's some of it in the budget is going toward that will be used by the Department of Community and Economic Development and the Department of Education. So we're looking at a more holistic approach. What can we do to address those issues? Some of it is changing some attitudes about the value of trades. Right. And going to a CTE. We're putting a lot of money into pre-apprenticeships and getting people, families, not just the kids, but the parents as well, exposed to what the value of the trades and what it can mean. I use a story quite a bit, and I was amazed. I went to an apprenticeship program in Northeast Philadelphia. They were the International Union of Painters and Allied Trades, and they had apprenticeship bridge trainers. And I said, well, what do these guys make? $108,000. As bridge painters, because it's such a high-tech, they're not up there with a ladder and a paintbrush. It's a very high-tech operation. So we need to continue to attract people to those trades. We need to continue to invest in getting people, having people so that those companies will be coming to Pennsylvania. Actually, next week, the Command Center is still meeting regularly, and we're going to be meeting with some folks from Shell. Who are responsible for the cracker plant out west. So we've been working closely with them to get them the folks they need for all the trades. So it is job one in our agency.
Well, excellent. Real quick, you mentioned apprenticeships, and I need a little bit more information on this. I have a bill out there, and you may be aware of it, to basically align Pennsylvania's apprenticeship law with the federal Department of Labor law. We have been out of compliance apparently since 2008. And I really think that, apprenticeships are the key, as you said, to filling those gaps in the trade industries related to jobs and workforce development. But we had a hearing at the House Labor and Industry Committee back in December, and I forget the gentleman's name, but he was from your department. He said that we are in compliance, yet there's nothing to show that.
We are in compliance, and I think Bob can speak to that.
Yeah, I'll be happy to address that. Pennsylvania, since December 23rd, 2010, Pennsylvania, along with 26 other states, the District of Columbia, Guam, the Virgin Islands, all have been granted continuing recognition by the Federal Department of Labor. If we didn't have that continuing recognition, the federal government, A, would not recognize our programs, and they do. B, they send a representative to every one of our state apprenticeship and training council meetings. He would not be allowed to attend. And B, we would not have been giving any federal apprenticeship and training money if we were not in compliance.
Can I get some evidence of that,
Representative.
some documentation to show that? I'd really
Absolutely.
appreciate it, and perhaps for the House Labor and Industry Committee as well.
We'll
All right.
distribute it through the chair.
Yep.
Thank you for your testimony. Continue to look ahead 5, 10 years in the future, aligning jobs with education.
And one of the committees that we have at the Keystone Command Center is the future of work. We're looking at beyond 5 to 10 years.
Good.
It's part
All
of what we're looking at as well.
All right, thank you.